The phone call. "Is Ian there?" the voice said. Not having an Ian in the family, I knew this to be a wrong number. I'd half expected it to be the hospital with my results, so I was a little annoyed that this call was blocking the line. "Nope, sorry, no one of that name here, I'm afraid," I said. "Is this Newark 5673? said the young person. "Only he's got my keys and I've got his. My mum's going to kill me if I go home without it again." Like a line from a long-forgotten song, these last few words hung in the air, shapeless at present, but forming. "Sorry," I said, after a wide-eyed pause of no time at all, still grasping. "Oh, not to worry. Sorry I bothered you." And he was about to say bye when I reached out and grabbed him back before he disappeared. "Who's Ian?" I asked. "Ian Wesley. This is the third time we've mixed up our keys." The name of Ian Wesley slammed into my brain like a meteor, the bit about the keys rocketing in after it. Ian had been the name of my best buddy at school. The short phone number confirmed it. It was hard to believe this was really happening. "Ian Wesley?" I asked, trying to hide my discomfort. "Yeah, you know him." And I knew what I was going to ask next. "He has ferrets, doesn't he?" And the answer came just as I knew it would. "How do you know that? Even his dad's not supposed to know that." "Oh, shit. That's not Mr. Wesley, is it?" No, I'm not him," I said. "Do I know you then?" the voice said after a second or two. What was I supposed to answer? I thought of putting the phone down. I thought of all sorts, a tsunami of notions, barely baked ones, all without conclusion. It mattered, you see. It mattered who ended the call first. It even mattered how long we talked for. "Are you still there?" he said. What came next? I had to know what came next. One wrong word could change everything. My blood pressure must have been sky high. Out of an ordinary day with only the hospital on my mind, I had come to this otherworldly abyss. Unprepared, suddenly frightened. Perhaps my next sentence might even bring my existence to an end. One little change, setting off a chain reaction, could alter everything that preceded today. Now, right now. "Do you smoke?" I asked, hoping I'd said the right thing. He had to smoke. I needed him to run the risk of getting lung cancer. He had to get hospital treatment for it. He had to wait for the results one day, far into the future. It was a terrible thing to cause in someone, especially this someone. "No," he said. I waited for what seemed like forever, breathing what seemed my last. I was still here, thankful to still be gripping the phone. Then, picking up on his negative answer, I said, "Bugger," under my breath. "But my girlfriend does," he added. "Of course," I blurted out without thinking. "It was Linda who got you hooked in the first place." "How do you know her name?" "Hey, I've only told Ian about her so far. How come you know who she is?" "Have you been following me?" "You met 3 weeks ago at the church barn dance." "Bloody hell," he said. My sentiments exactly, I thought. This phone call had, until now, been one of life's ancient curiosities. It had lain buried under almost 40 years of my life. I had made a wrong number, trying to get hold of Ian, hoping to catch him before he set off with his parents for the social club. There might have been a chance to catch him and make the exchange of keys, and so I racked my brain trying to remember the strange chat I'd had with a weird old bloke on the line back then, and how it had turned out all those years ago when I was just a teenager. "Look, I've got to go," he said. "You've got to stay. You've got to stay on the line." "Says who?" "You'd never believe me if I told you," I said. The phone call that afternoon had gone on for too long. By the time I'd rung off, I'd missed Ian. I'd met Linda soon after. She'd given me my first fag. I had to keep him talking. "Has Titch bitten you yet?" I asked. "Titch?" Ian had had 2 ferrets, Tiger, and later one called Titch. It had been me who had suggested Titch as a name because that was one of my many nicknames at school. Funny how you forget details. Ian could only have had Tiger at that time of the phone call. Tiger, sorry. This is freaking me out. Who the hell have you been spying on me? Do you believe in fate? I asked. Sod fate. Who are you? Come on, how do you know all this stuff about me? I could vaguely remember getting mad. This was good. It meant that the conversation was still balanced on its tightrope. Your mum's name's Faye. Your daddy's called Hugh. You've got a scar on your right index finger caused by an accident on a go-kart when you were 7. Your dad has a running scar on his thumbnail that won't heal. You're good at art. Shall I go on? This can't be happening, he said. You're a creep, that's what you are. And you're Chopin, I said. God, how do you know? They call me that too. Then he paused and gave a little laugh. Oh, very funny, Ian. Brilliant. Oh, God, you had me going there, you stupid bastard. What year is it? I asked. Oh, come off it now. That's enough now. The year, I persisted. 1975. Okay? Happy? You're talking to someone in the year 2010. What? The year 2010. Yeah, and I'm Georgie Best. By now I'd remembered the phone box that this call had been made from, just outside the Rose and Crown. Behind me was a bus shelter, and Linda had been there waiting to go to the pictures. If you turn round and look over the road, you'll see Linda waiting, I said. I could hear him move the receiver away to look. Shit! How are you doing all this? You really want to know who you're talking to? Yeah. I'll tell you in 35 years' time, I said. Now off you go. Your future wife is waiting for you. I heard the phone click off and waited for something to happen, something bad. A moment later, I was still here. My heart was pounding. All I could hear was my breathing. I still existed, thank God. Not long after, my wife Linda came home from town, going on about the grandkids and clattering about with the shopping. I couldn't help but smile, even as a tear rested in the corner of my eye. Things had worked out just as they were supposed to have done. My wife, my kids, they'd still happened. I hadn't changed anything. Oh, the relief of it. As Linda clattered away, the phone rang again. With an instant reflex, panic through me like electricity. Trembling, I picked it up, afraid. But it was just the hospital. They said that they had got my results, but were reluctant to give them to me over the phone. They wanted to see me, so I made an appointment. As I put the receiver down, I allowed my past to come to rest. The future, whatever it was made of, was beckoning. Only I did ponder on how I'd ever tackle making a wrong number again. I imagined talking to some doddery old git of 80. Only this time, I'd know that I was talking to myself 30-odd years in the future, just as I'd done unwittingly 35 years before, just now. I even half hoped it would happen, just to give me the satisfaction of knowing that I'd got through to such a future. I guess, though, that we're just never meant to know that, are we?